Fucking Christ. Sean O'Malley really made me his fan. That was insane. For those of you that don't know, this dude fought through a broken leg. His leg was broken. Was fucking broken. This dude was fighting on one leg. And the ref, I don't know if the ref didn't catch. There's no way the ref didn't catch it because the dude was literally defending himself, trying to hop around, defending himself. And I guess just because it was 1 or 2 minutes left, the ref kind of let him go on and see if he could defend himself on the ground, which he did a great job of. If you got one leg, and I don't think the dude could even use it for submission, like if that dude tried to lock in a submission and like pull on his leg to secure it deeper, it would have looked like the grossest thing in your entire life you've ever seen, because like either if he tried to lock that leg with his leg, or if he tried to pull that leg to lock his other leg tighter, the leg would have just bent in half. It would have been grosser than the silver thing. So man, what a champion, what a warrior. Okay, on top of that, the dude has some crazy footwork. Someone posted on Reddit on the MMA sub, which I really love. You guys should check out if you're not checking it out. Someone posted he has striking similarities to Conor McGregor, which I really don't agree with. McGregor, while unorthodox, is insanely technical and really graceful, and he knows body mechanics really well. So does O'Malley, but he's young and he's a little reckless and he's a little sloppy. That bit, not to take anything away from this dude, because it works. If it's sloppy and it works is the way I look at it. And a lot of times there's things you're not even seeing until you like slow it down, like, oh, okay, that's why that worked. It shouldn't, but it did because of this. That's what my channel's a lot about. But some of the stuff that really impressed me is he kind of reminds me of I'm about to say Aldo, but I'm not thinking of Aldo. God damn it, I'm having a brain fart. I'll think of it later. But he definitely doesn't remind me of McGregor. He needs to go up in weight. The dude needs to. I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but he needs to go up in weight, because as soon as I was watching the fight with my wife, and I said that dude is what was it? Emaciated? He's emaciated. The dude looks like he has an eating disorder, and it showed because he broke his freaking bone. Like, that's how little nutrition the dude's getting. Is he broke a bone, not on someone's leg, not on their knee bone. He broke his bone on someone's arm. That means that the dude's forearm, which by the way is two bones which intersect and twist, is not a very like stable big bone, right? He broke his arm. He broke his leg on that dude's arm. So he's like, the dude needs to move up. Not only that, but the reason I was initially saying it, besides him being susceptible to takedowns because he's so gangly and not doesn't have enough mass on him, is the shit he connects with would knock people out if he were heavier. Straight up, the dude does not have enough strength in his body because of he's not eating enough. The dude is not eating enough. Like, I've been a personal trainer. I've been a martial arts since I was 5. I've been a gymnastics coach. I know my shit. This guy is not eating enough. He's cutting too much. I don't care if he's one of those naturally skinny dudes. You know what you could do if you're a naturally skinny dude? You fucking eat. This dude needs to eat. When he moves up a weight class, it'll be harder to take down, because right now, it's like knocking over like a feather. It's like it's like knocking over a stick figure, So he needs to eat so he could put more power into his punches, so he's healthier, and so he could avoid takedowns. I don't think he's in the right weight class. I don't think he's in the right weight class at all. But some combinations that really impressed me. This dude, and I'm only saying this, I'm not hating. A lot of people think if I criticize a fighter they like that I'm hating. No, I'm saying this dude could be even better, and I see that potential. That's why I'm talking about it. So one of the things I really liked was he did a spin back fist and then chained it into a round kick to the head. And man, that was so beautiful to watch. I think he connected with both, or partially connected with the round kick maybe, but damn, that was so beautiful. He likes to step into his rear hand and then exit out the side. Classic Muhammad Ali, and a lot of guys are doing that nowadays. He was trying to do some Mighty Mouse stuff, and Holloway, that's who I think he reminds me of. He reminds me a little bit of early Holloway. Holloway before he became more refined, before he got his precision down. Which is a huge compliment because you know, Max Holloway's incredible. He's I mean, obviously he's champion, you know. So he reminds me a little of Holloway with his style. For sure, with his striking. He doesn't remind me of McGregor in that regard. A lot of people think McGregor's sloppy. He's not sloppy. There's a reason for what he's doing, and you can check the breakdown. He's very precise. He's very mechanical. Every bit of defense he sacrifices actually makes him more defensive, if that makes any sense. But anyways, moving on. O'Malley reminded me so much of what Holloway used to look like before he got a little bit more precise. Except, while Holloway's like lengthy and lean, man, O'Malley needs to really put on some weight. So he was doing some good stuff. He was doing some stance switches stuff, but his combinations, just the precision, his tenacity, just everything impressed me. And then the most impressive thing is after his leg was broke, he muscled his way up off of the cage, pretty much putting, I'd say, 90-95% of the weight on one of his legs, which is pretty crazy. He's got those long levers, you know. And then from like the tightest spin back fist I've ever seen on a broken leg, and then catches the guy. I'm gonna call him Andre because I'm gonna butcher his last name. And just man, and he just knocked him down. He knocked his competitor down and just like sunk him to the ground. And that was almost the fight. He almost got a knockout. The dude almost got a knockout on fucking one leg. So absolutely incredible. The dude also has a sense of humor. He was raising his hands up while he was on the ground, like, I'm fucking dying. I'm gonna raise my hands up because, you know, like, I won. I wanted to see the shot of the ref raising the empty, like the ghost arm, just raising the guy's arm that wasn't there, but they didn't show it. They cut right to O'Malley. And then he did an interview with Rogan and told him he loved him. Man, obviously the pain wasn't hitting him while he was fighting, I don't think, unless he's like the baddest motherfucker of all time. But it takes a while for the pain to really kick in when you get that kind of injury. And I think it was starting to kick in. And it's definitely kicked in by now. So I hope they have that dude on something. I hope they, man, my mouth's getting dry. I'm going to get a drink of water. I'll be right back. I'd skip forward like 10 seconds. I'm going to run. Hold on. I'm back. Now that is some high quality H2O. So yeah, that was an absolutely incredible fight. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy's later fights. I hope they have him on a lot of drugs right now. I hope he's feeling very happy. I hope he's able to enjoy his fame in his hometown. That's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. What a badass! I'm an instant fan of that dude. What a great kid. All right, so moving on, Frankie Edgar versus Brian Ortega. I did not see that one coming. Check elbow, as you know, it's a great example of what the UFC kind of opens up in regards to having more of a boxing framework, I should say. The striking is more boxing than Muay Thai is what's popular right now, but adding Muay Thai to the boxing framework, and everyone who doesn't know anything about it is going to be like, what are you talking about? Muay Thai is the premier style used in MMA. I don't know what that voice is from. That doesn't sound like anybody. But really, the strikes are. The strikes, a lot of the strikes, especially the leg kicks and all that, it's all very Muay Thai. The footwork and the stances are far more boxing, or occasionally karate, just because that's a better way to move around the ring, especially if you have guys shooting at you. You don't want to be in a Muay Thai stance when you have guys shooting at you. Are you crazy? But so the framework... And by framework, I mean just kind of like how everything fits together, like the systems people use is more boxing. And then when you get very, very close range, yeah, then it's Muay Thai again. But it's an interesting way to see how elbows fit into boxing, because Ortega threw a very boxing-like elbow as opposed to a kind of Muay Thai elbow. I mean, yeah, he did turn it over. So yeah, it is a Muay Thai elbow, but in regards to like the position he was in and the kind of the stance he was in and the way he was responding to it, because Edgar's hook wasn't really sloppy, like at all. It was a pretty tight hook. It had a little bit of a drag for a little bit of extra power. It could have been tighter. He stands in a pretty forward stance. So if he was more sideways, yeah, I would have had more of an angle if he was doing like a Cody kind of thing. But really, it was a decent hook. and he was defending himself fairly responsibly. At least I think that's what I remember when they show the replays. Let me just watch the replay right here on once again Pimpin' RMMA. Let's see. Yeah, the elbow, the hook, like, Ortega was standing more sideways, so it's gonna hit first, regardless if he threw a hook himself. But man, Edgar it wasn't a bad hook. It wasn't irresponsible. And Ortega just meant it like an elbow beats a hook, I guess is what I'm trying to say after 30 fucking seconds of not getting to the point. But an elbow beats a hook, and man, it was just so beautiful. It was like it wasn't a check hook, but it's like, if it was a check hook, then a check elbow to the check hook would be checkmate, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, shortest path to nearest target really is what it comes down to. Is absolutely brilliant. And then I really like how how Ortega had the sense of mind to really take the time to set up a kill shot. He didn't, like, the dude is all about submissions, and he could have so easily gone for a takedown and a submission. He probably still would have gotten it, but maybe not. Maybe he would have pulled a Woodley against Wonderboy and missed a chance there. I mean, probably not, but he might have. So the way that he just really set it up to, and then stepped back to turn it into a lead uppercut, which made it like so much more powerful. It reminded me of Mike Tyson, honestly, which is ironic because I'm subscribed to BJJ Scout because I think the grappling on there is awesome. That's what I'll say. I think they have good grappling on there. The striking, they just had a striking thing about how Edgar is more like peekaboo style, which I don't see personally. In so much as he does, like, occasionally duck and weave, but most UFC guys duck and weave. They know how to do it, at least. They've done it occasionally. So I didn't really see that, But great channel. I don't need to pimp them. They already have like so many subscribers. They're already really good and really established. And I could go on and on about all the stuff they don't know that I don't know. And man, their TJ Dillashaw versus Cruz was absolutely brilliant. So that was a good striking one that I liked too. But it's funny they just did that one because and compared Edgar to Tyson, because tonight it was Ortega that looked like Tyson. The way that he framed, stepped back, and then Tyson didn't often frame unless he was. I'll take that back. But the way that he stepped back and put his hip into it and switched in the southpaw to deliver what is now a lead uppercut. Classic Mike Tyson. Absolutely classic Mike Tyson. And he really finished him off with that uppercut. So, man, this kid has got it. And he could be champion soon. We'll see. That's going to be an awesome fucking fight. So yeah. Man, what else? Well, Cyborg raped some woman. So that's pretty much all there was to that. I forget her name, honestly. She just came into the UFC. She was Invicta champion. She had decent wrestling. And, man, it's just really disappointing to see whenever, sometimes they dominate. Good examples, Anderson Silva came from someplace else and just dominated. So sometimes they do. But when you see a champion, or was Silva champion by the time he came to UFC? Was he? I can't remember. That was a long-ass time ago. But when you see someone, champion or not, transfer to the UFC, and they just get absolutely destroyed by UFC, you're like, okay, yeah. I was expecting that, of course. But this one was particularly bad because Cyborg pretty much has one, like, signature move, which is her chopping right, She does kind of like a Hearns thing where she steps out way to the left, squares herself up, and then her punch kind of starts off as a cross, like a ducking cross, and then turns into kind of like that hook motion, but angled downward, like chopping wood. That's why they call it chopping cross. You could call it like an overhand. You could call it like a vertical hook, I've heard. Whatever the hell you want to call it. But that's her signature move. And she goes for the chin. And so this woman, I don't know if she'd ever seen Cyborg fight before, because her response every time was to try to block another move. So first she tried to block maybe a leg kick or a takedown. So her response was to lower her hands when Cyborg punched her. And then she kept her hands down a lot. And then she tried to do kind of what Mighty Mouse does when he puts his arms out like, you know, like you're playing patty cake. He puts his arms out and then circles. And that's a good thing to do if you're circling, you know, because it's hard to kind of punch through those barriers when they're moving. You know, it's like it's like that game at it's like those games at a carnival when you're trying to shoot something and there are things sliding back and forth out of the way. So that works, you know, the arms out, like pawing stuff works when you're circling or whatever, or when you're manipulating their guard, but it doesn't work to block a punch. It doesn't work to block a powerful punch. You know, when you're just standing there, it's one of the least protective things you can do. So that fight was just kind of not, it's not here or there. It's just what happened. I still think in straw weight, the women's division is worth watching right now. Absolutely. I'm still not sure if it's worth it for me to watch it in featherweight right now, but it could be. They just need to get it more hyped, just like they did with strawweight, and they need to get it more, you know, they need to get better competitors, and that'll happen over time. It'll happen over time. And I'll keep an eye on it while it does, because I slept on the strawweight division for too long, because it was at the point where men's MMA was 10 or 15 years ago, which is everyone just specializes in one thing. And I think that's what happened with Cyborg's opponent tonight. She specialized in wrestling, I'm guessing. I sure as hell hope she didn't specialize in striking. But yeah. And she went up a weight class, but she looked like she looked comfortable. She looked like she should be comfortable at that weight in with Cyborg. It didn't look like it was a major disadvantage. Edgar versus Ortega. Ortega, I don't know how Ortega cuts down so much. That's absolutely insane. He came in there looking like he was a weight class over at the very least. So that dude can cut down and dehydrate. Either that or it's Edgar I don't know what the hell was happening there, but the Edgar looked like he was fighting in the wrong weight class. He looked like he showed up to the wrong fight, and I was like, why am I fighting this guy? He's like 20 pounds heavier than me. But I haven't talked enough actually about what Edgar did, because Edgar looked impressive in there still. He wasn't, like, in so much as it ended in the first round, it wasn't humiliating. He landed some decent strikes. His footwork was great. He was doing what he was supposed to do. I'm not going to say he got unlucky, but the fight could have definitely gone a different way if Ortega didn't land that shot. It could have lasted maybe like another cut. It could have definitely gone the distance. That would have been, yeah, and then Ortega's submission would have gone into it. The fact he didn't even have to use it, though, was pretty damn impressive. So, yeah. So that's all I pretty much have to say for right now. Excellent UFC event, and I can't wait for the upcoming one. I'm going to do my new format for these 3 fights. I don't know if you checked it out yet. I did kind of like a practice run with the Yoel Romero versus Luke Rockhold. If you want to check that out, that's my latest video. And basically, I'm just like demonstrating with a partner and then showing some drills so you guys could practice how these guys ended their fights and some cool stuff they did in their fights. I'm definitely doing some O'Malley combinations. I'm definitely doing the Ortega one. And I might do Cyborg. I'm not sure. I mean, it's pretty much the main point of that one is if someone known for throwing a right hand to the jaw throws a right hand at your jaw, don't lower your guard as a reaction is what I would say for that one. So I don't know if I'm going to do a video. This is David from the Modern Martial Artist wishing you happy training.